With the Lagos local government election just around the corner, that's on July 12th, the political landscape is heating up with political parties intensifying in terms of campaign, mobilizing supporters and showcasing their candidates' credentials. However, as the election date approaches, there may be concerns around voter apathy, security and logistics, which could impact on the outcome of the polls. Well, joining me right now to discuss this is Engineer Adigun Ibrahim-Olalekan. He's the chairman of National Youth Council of Nigeria at the Lagos State chapter. He joins me live in the studio. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you, Mr. Olalekan. But let me ask you first, looking at the preparation, top gear, ahead of Saturday's elections, from your perspective, the key stakeholders there, the political parties, the umpire, which is LASEC, voters themselves, how would you say, are you confident of the outcome on eventually after Saturday?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege. And for the forthcoming local government election coming up on Saturday, I can say boldly, based on the engagement that we've had with the critical stakeholders in that particular place, talking about High Park, talking about LASEC. So those are the major stakeholders that we have interfaced with. And of course, young people, of course, which is the territory that I represent as their voice. So what we have done so far, and that has happened for the past few weeks, is that there have been series of engagements, there have been series of town halls, there have been series of door-to-door, and you observe that there is a resurgence of people getting to know about what is going to happen on Saturday. And you see that excitement because there are a lot of people that have, as we speak, you go to the street as we speak, you see a lot of people still doing rallies, still doing campaigns all around the corner. The advocacy is in top gear. And for LASEC, we believe that based on the preparation and some of the meetings that we have had with them, some of the engagement that we've had with them, the level of their preparation compared to previous local government election, I think is better. Even when you look at in terms of advocacy, you observe that the advocacy strategy that it deployed this time is all-encompassing, is an hybrid kind of engagement and advertisement pattern to get Lagosians ready and prepared on the need for them to vote. Because a lot of people will always shout that local government election is always rigged by the political actors dominant in that particular local government. But in the case of LASEC, in this forthcoming election, they've demonstrated, based on the engagement and the interactions we've had with them across the 5 divisions, across the 57 local governments and local council development area, and they're engaging and interfacing with the critical stakeholders. There was a time we had a town hall with them. At that town hall, we had all political parties present in that gathering. And they were asking critical questions as to voting will commence by 8 o'clock according to LASEC and terminate by 3. What are the measures? What are the procedures? What are the methods that have been put in place? And LASEC have been able to answer, of course, to a reasonable level as to their level of preparation. And they've assured us, most especially we young people that form about 60% of the entire population of the state, that they are going to ensure that the process is not marred with unnecessary infringement and unnecessary hanky-panky activities.
Yeah, just to come in there, you talked about the issue of engagement at all levels, critical stakeholders, and including the youth. For local government elections, unfortunately, one thing that seems to be, well, I call it constant, in the past, is voter apathy. Hardly do you see people come out. The turnover is always usually, more often than not, minimal, right? Why do you think that is? And do you see that happening in this election? I know you did say that compared to what we've seen in the past, the level of preparation and all, this seems different. On the aspect of voter apathy, this time around? What's your take?
So firstly, I think advocacy is better compared to previous local government elections. I think it's better. If you go around, you see billboard, you see when you check commercial vehicles, you see a lot of posters, you see a lot of materials sensitizing people on the need for them to be part of the electoral process. For us as young people, what we have also done is across our 57 local government and local council development areas, we have also been able to embark on aggressive advocacy. We being the major player in this election, holding the highest chunk of the overall population of the state, knowing fully well that we need to be active in this election. And we need to also say a little bit thank you to a lot of the political parties, because they've done something that is different from previous times, where you will always have limitations and very minimal numbers of young people given opportunity to contest the election. It is instructive to note that in this election, across party lines, we now see a situation where young people, I'm talking about people from age 18 to 35, age 18 to 40, are given the opportunity to contest councillorship elections, chairmanship elections. Some of them are built on the vice chairmanship joint ticket with the chairman. So this would also motivate young people. If you have your peers that are also contesting, you also want to give them that solidarity support to also show them that you are behind them. So I think for this election, it's going to be a little bit better compared to previous election based on the parameters that we have, based on what we have done so far.
All right, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll further look at the involvement of the youth ahead of Lagos State local government polls. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. I still have Engineer Adigun Ibrahim-Olalekan. He is the chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Lagos State chapter. Thank you for staying with me.
Thank you so much.
Let's talk about the involvement of the youth ahead of this local government polls. You talked about sensitization, and I'm going to dwell on that. Often than not, we see a situation where largely a lot of young persons are used as agents of violence, chaos. They are given, small monies or, items, and then they are unleashed. At the level of awareness, would you say that, some things have been done to ensure that these young persons are not used in that direction?
Yes. So for us, about a year ago, we began the preparation for this election, because election is not, you don't start to prepare for election a day to the election. So knowing fully well that we are critical players in this election, so what we have done is to say, what are some of the issues that young people face or we face with the election? Number one has to do with what you've talked about, which is vote buying, young people being used as instruments of violence during electoral processes, and so on and so forth. So we felt that the issue would be economic empowerment. So what we did is to, for the past 1 year when we entered office, we've been involved in aggressive programs, projects, and advocacy around economic empowerment, because we know that when young people are economically empowered, of course, it will also support them to stand for themselves, to be able to decide who emerge at the end of the day at any level of the ladder. So this coming election, aside from the fact that we have been doing different advocacies across our levels, we are also supporting the advocacy with the key point of saying that, come, on that day, the president, this election is the election that affects us majorly directly, because it's the government that is closest to the people. And the kinds of leaders that we have as councillors, as local government chairman, determines the level of growth and the level of progress, grassroots progress, that we are going to have across our localities. So our youth are better informed now that this election, because, for example, a councillor, you need a couple of streets to determine who becomes your councillor. So, and you can easily knock on his door because he lives within your community. So you know fully well that if you want an information to get to Mr. Governor through the local government chairman, you need your councillor to achieve that. So you must be involved in who emerge as your councillor in your ward. Vote for whoever is going to protect your interest when the person emerge.
All right, before we go, just in 30 seconds, let's talk about the autonomy of the local government. We know that the Supreme Court passed a ruling that local governments right now would get their allocations directly from the federal purse, as at what it used to be before, and some level of autonomy that is. I want you to talk about that vis-a-vis governance, the quality of governance.
So local government autonomy is the way to go, because what it will do is that it will assist local government administrators to implement programs, projects, and policies that will affect people directly without the interference of state governors. We all know the overbearing, the weight that governors from across different states put on local government administrators. Of course, in Lagos, we are lucky because we have local government administrators that are competing with various initiatives and projects. In Lagos, you have local government administrator that builds about 3 ICT centers. You have a local government administrator that is building modernized health facility, that is building sporting facility, that is building educational facility. So we need, not only in Lagos State now, we need this to happen in other parts of the country. Don't forget, Lagos is the jackpot destination of Nigeria. Everybody rushed down to Lagos to look for greener pasture. People from other states rush down to Lagos State. So it's always a burden for Lagos. We must be sincere with ourselves. It's always a burden for Lagos. So we need local government autonomy to empower local government administrators in other local governments, in other 774 local governments within the federation. This will bring about grassroots development, which is the hallmark of development of any society.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Engineer Adigun Ibrahim-Olalekan. It's been a pleasure as the chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Lagos State Chapter. It's been a privilege having you, and it's good again meeting you again.
Good to meet you again.
On a personal note.
Yeah.